I am here in studio with State Representative Joan Meschino of Hull. Thanks so much for joining us on this beautiful day.
My pleasure. It's absolutely glorious out.
Isn't it nice? Those of us that are allergy sufferers, I got my sneezing out of the way, hopefully ahead of time. But, always good to check in with you, see what's going on in your district and up at the State House. And, of course, you represent Hull, Hingham, and Cohasset.
Yes.
Just some very beautiful towns. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the Cohasset Center for Student Coastal Research. We do get a lot of emails from them, and it looks like they're doing interesting things, but you know a lot more about what they're doing than I do.
You should have them on. CSCR is fantastic. It originated in Cohasset, but has become much more regional, and they're drawing in students for their summer programming from a wide range, like from Duxbury all the way up to Weymouth and into Quincy. And what they're doing is they're teaching the next generation of scientists. They have wonderful programming where the students come in, they figure out what they want to do research in, and it's actually about the science. So it's water testing, things like that, and figuring out why is the eelgrass dying, or what are the sediments that we're seeing shifting around in the harbor, or how are we looking at the beaches. And it's all nature-based, and it's all student-led. They have some wonderful teachers there, and we actually just got them a small stipend through the budget process because they want this not only to train and teach those next students, they want to engage them in that kind of scientific inquiry, if you will, to look at the environment around them and to take action. But they also want it to be practical, and so we got them a little money to help them do a certificate program on GIS and how you use that for nature-based solutions. So it's very exciting, and I totally encourage all of the would-be scientists out there to check it out and see if you can't get an internship with them.
And that's the Cohasset Center for Student Coastal Research. Fascinating. Like I said, we get so many emails, but I stopped and I looked at theirs. I thought, this looks like an interesting cruise, so that's good to know.
Oh, we're going to have to take you on a tour.
Okay, definitely. Don't throw me in the eelgrass. What about the Mass Climate Bank? I know that there was a little bit of an update. You met with some people recently.
So the Mass Climate Bank celebrated 1 year of existence. The Healy administration created it, and they hired a fantastic woman to really get it up and running. And what they're doing is the goal of the bank is to do that kind of financial innovation, to make sure that as we're decarbonizing our economy and we're making this transition over to electric, that regular people glean all the benefits of it. So it's just about making sure that regular people have access to borrow inexpensive money and all of the financial innovations that come through that. So if you're someone who's interested in, say, putting solar panels on your roof, you might have to borrow a little money to fix the roof first, or you want air source heat pumps, but you have to update those wiring. Or maybe you're just someone who wants to put in better insulation so that you're conserving, right? The cheapest energy is the energy we don't use, right? And of course, that's a big topic right now is high energy costs, and the governor just dropped a bill. I haven't even had a chance to read it. It literally came out yesterday. So this is a big topic, big conversation, and I think that the Climate Bank is successful so far. They put out a homeowner energy saver program that was great. Did a great job on the Cape, and that was the panel discussion that we posted about recently, celebrating their success and urging them to grow, to scale and do more and partner with agencies like Mass Save, just for regular folks.
Now, of course, this is something that I think a lot of people have questions about. I don't think I know that all the data, meaning the information that we have about people, we know a lot of it's not private, but I believe that probably a lot more information about us is released that we have no idea about. So data privacy, that's a hot topic right now, and that's also something that's being discussed up at the State House. Where are we, and how do you define that?
So there was a big hearing in front of the Advanced IT Committee led by Representative Trish Foley-Bouvier, and she has put forward what I think is a really smart, very sensible, pragmatic bill with the goal of minimizing the use of your private data. We give out all sorts of data all the time, and it's for a good purpose. You know, we're talking to our vendors, we're customers, and we're either purchasing something or we're using something, and we share our private data with the expectation that that data is going to be used for the purpose for which we intend it, right? So whether it's our cable TV or Facebook or a hospital or whatever it is, shopping. But what's happening is these big companies are taking our private data and they are aggregating it and they're selling it to other companies. And what they're doing is they're using it to track us online. Take a look at your own phone and see if your location services are on. They're tracking you and where you're going. And the reason they want to do that is so that when you drive by that Dunkin' Donuts, it will pop up, right, on your screen. And so what they're doing is they're figuring out strategies on how to market to us, but they're taking it to a whole nother level. I feel like it's almost stalking online. And the way they talk about it is so we can design the services that you don't even know you want. So it's I'm very concerned.
It's a little creepy.
It's very
creepy.
manipulative. And if you think about just regular people like us who are pretty savvy.
Yeah.
It's in front of us all the time. But think about more, say, seniors who aren't as, haven't grown up with this, or kids who are just so used to it they don't think about it.
I post, therefore I am. What I always think about, which we were talking a little bit off air, is I get at least 3 notices a year about your data may have been compromised. That's kind of creepy.
Well, so they're not even keeping the data that we are sharing with them protected from scammers, and that's all out there. But this is all right now completely legitimate. They're just taking your data. You don't even know they're taking it. They don't tell you. They don't want to tell you. And there was a big hearing on it where we heard a lot of testimony about why we really need to circle around it and minimize the uses of the data that you're providing for services you want, utilities. I mean, I'm telling you, it's across the board. Who really wants to just take that data and use it for their own purpose? And no one has a problem with companies making money, but they shouldn't be doing it at our expense. It shouldn't be this secretive, and it shouldn't be this manipulative, and it should be easy to opt out and say no.
You're absolutely right, and we're going to touch on this issue again because I know this is something a lot of people are probably interested in. I also, what I'm going to ask you about, of course, local cable access.
Of course.
They provide so much content. We do a lot of things with them when we do political forums, etc. And I think their value was highlighted even more during the pandemic when people were able to just opt in and see what's going on in town government. And I think they kept up with that. Besides the regular programming that they do, which is, I always tell people, this is not your father's cable anymore.
No, it's not.
And there's a lot of really good programming on out there, but that's in danger of being cut way back.
Yes, as people are moving away from cable subscriptions, there's a fee on that, and that's the funding source. So as you move away from your cable subscription onto streaming services, we're losing that revenue source. So the bill, in the most simplest terms, is just following the consumer and saying, you were okay paying your fee here to this tremendous positive public impact, right, effect. It was very successful, and it has created a real ecosystem in Massachusetts. It's town meeting season. Everybody's watching at home, right? We want you in the room, but everybody's watching at home. Everybody can see it streamed. I mean, these are important things. This is core democracy stuff, but it needs to be funded. And so all we're saying is update it so that we're including new technologies.
Okay.
And the reason it's important is because if we just do it through taxes, or we need to do it through the fees, because then we can tie it to the important public purpose. Otherwise, everyone's just going to go into the money's just going to go into the general fund, and it won't go to that important public purpose.
Right.
So that's why we call it a fee. I'm not trying to dodge the conversation, but if we do it that way, then it sticks there.
And when you say fee, we're not talking about a huge fee either. It's usually a few dollars, as I remember trying to understand my very complicated cable bill. I don't know what half of the things are, but as I remember, the fees are pretty small.
It's minimal. It's
Yeah.
really minimal. It's not driving anything up. In fact, it's pretty de minimis, and you wouldn't even notice it over the course of a year.
And of course, I want to ask you, because a lot of people may have questions about, oh, I don't want to bother her. She's a state rep, but I've got questions. But your office really good about sponsoring office hours.
Oh my gosh, yes. I have office hours every Monday rotating in the district. And we just had Cohasset. So next Monday is going to be in the afternoon at the Hingham Public Library. Just go on to Joan Meschino .com, and you can see it's all posted on my website. And you're also always, you don't have to wait, you are always welcome to call my office, 617-722-2092. A very nice young man will answer that phone. Or you can email me at joan.meschino@mahouse.gov. And if you need something more timely, it's time sensitive, please, if it occurs to you to call, please call.
That's terrific. And again, that's Joan Meschino, State Representative, 3rd Plymouth District from the town of Hull, covering also Hingham and Cohasset. We appreciate you joining us today.
Great to be here.
Thank you very much.
Great to be here.
Thank you very much.